Okay, so good morning, everyone. You're very welcome to this webinar on our Diploma in Business and Executive Coaching. I'm delighted to see a great turnout this morning. So our next intake of this diploma is starting on April 25th, and we thought it'd be a nice option to invite people on. Some people have already applied for the program, and then others are thinking about it, and then there are people who saw the webinar being advertised and thought, you know what, I've always been thinking about this and I might as well just hear more this morning. So you're very welcome. We're going to go through the program. I'm going to be joined by my colleague Eileen Duggan, who is a lead faculty member on the program. Eileen is going to give an overview and, let you know exactly what's involved in all of the 6 workshops on the program, and the EMCC accreditation, the workload and the time commitment involved, because that is very important. And then she is also going to be joined by Mark Cahalane, and Mark is a past participant of the program. And Mark has since gone on to do the diploma in team coaching and has just commenced the diploma in advanced business and executive coaching. So it's great to have the two of them here, to really hear their experience, because actually Eileen was a past participant many years ago on the program too. So it's lovely for them to share their experience. So what I will do is I'd invite you to put your questions into the Q&A at the bottom of your screen, and we'll go through them after Eileen and Mark's discussion. And then I will finish up at the end just with some logistics around the program starting in April. There will be a copy of this webinar being sent out to you afterwards. And if there's any questions we don't get to, we will answer them in the email that I'll send out also. So now I'm going to hand you over to Eileen and Mark. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Annabelle. And welcome everyone here this morning, and a particular warm welcome and thank you to Mark for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Eileen.
So as Annabelle said, what I would love to do is give you a very brief overview of the diploma. And then after I've gone through it in a little bit more detail, Mark and I are going to have a casual conversation just with regard to Mark's experience as being a past participant on the program. So we'd love to hear your comments or questions and answers. So do please feed them into the chat as we're going along. And when we both have finished, we'll certainly go into that and give a little bit of time with regard to answering any of your queries that you have. So just to give you a little bit brief about myself, my name is Eileen Duggan. I am a lead tutor on this postgrad diploma, and I've been part of the tutor panel since 2015. And as Annabelle has said, I did the program myself over 10 years ago, back in 2011. And it had a profound impact on me personally and professionally. So when I completed the program, I went on, started up an executive coaching business, and I continued my learning and got my master's in executive coaching, went on to become a systemic coach and constellator and coach supervisor. So the learning continues. It was certainly the start of a long learning journey, which I'm still on. The work that I really love, though, I work full-time in this, but the work that I really love is working on this diploma and really supporting other participants as they're learning the skill of coaching and going on their own journey, whatever that looks like for them. So what is the journey? What is the coaching program about? So it was originally designed back in 2007. So it's over 15 years. We're in our 26th iteration now at this stage of the program. So as you can imagine, it's a very well established. It carries the award of Senior Practitioner with the EMCC. So this is one of the main coaching bodies here in Europe, the European Mentoring Coaching Council. So from a standard perspective, it has been recognized as a very high standard program. It's delivered over 14 days, 6 workshops over a 10-month period. So even though the workshop's finished, there still is a couple of weeks where you get your last assignment in. So you really need to give it the 10-month stage. The 6 workshops, the first 2 workshops are 3 days, and thereafter they're 2 days each, and they're roughly about 6 weeks intervals between them. The program itself has held its original design from the very beginning, but yet at the same time, we're continuously upgrading it with new information to ensure that it is kept really up to date and very, very relevant. But the original design was around 3 main pillars. The first being the academic piece. And this is really about supporting you in the theory of coaching and linking it to the business world. The second is the practical application of the program. So we have a huge focus on the actual practical skill of learning to be a coach. And the third, there is a strong, the content and the approach has a very strong psychological dimension. And we can go through this in a little bit more detail. But we really encourage our participants to be able to coach at a deeper level when they complete the program. So we know ourselves that coaching is all about change. It's always about future focus. And a lot of cases, the change that we need is at a much deeper level. So once our participants complete the program, this is what they have. They're confident to coach at this deeper level with their clients. The program itself, there's 2 lead tutors, myself and my colleague Pam, and we're also joined by 4 coach practice tutors for workshop 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because of the participative nature and the experiential nature of this program, full attendance for all of the workshops is really required. So along with the full attendance, there also is 6 assignments. The assignments are broken down into 2 group assignments and 4 individual assignments. And these are literally, at each workshop, you will be submitting assignments. So in between the workshops is when you get the time to do the assignments. So the first 2 assignments are very much focused on supporting you to read, to research, to critically evaluate other coaching theories, concepts, models. So it's really giving you the theory in the background, the academic side of things for the very beginning part of the program. The third assignment is focusing on your practical application. So this is about you submitting 10 minutes of your coaching recording and your own assessment on it. The fourth assignment is a reflective journal. So reflective practice is at the heart of this program. So we're continually getting you to journal as you're going throughout the program. So the fourth assignment is your reflective practice on your own journey, looking through a particular psychological lens. The fifth assignment then is your 90 hours pro bono coaching. So then here is the practical aspect of the coaching. And also as part of the EMCC accreditation, you will be completing EMCC competencies. So that's the fifth one. And the last assignment then is a group assignment that you'll be doing a presentation in workshop 6 on your own learning journey as a learning group. So they're the 6 assignments. In terms of the time commitment, people often ask, what time should I put aside? So this is a very valuable question, because what we do find, people that are challenged on the programs possibly underestimated the commitment and the time involved. So we would generally recommend a day to a day and a half per week. And this would also take in your workshops, your assignments, your pre-reading, your learning. But it would be, there is a strong commitment for from a workload perspective over the 10 months. And again, this would include your pro bono 90 hours coaching as well in it. A mixture of people that come on the program. We have HR leaders that are looking to bring coaching into their organization, learn a little bit more about coaching. We have leaders that are looking to bring coaching into their own leadership style. We've more senior leaders that are looking to transition into a new career and possibly use coaching as an extension of their repertoire that they're offering. And we also have coaches, practicing qualified coaches that are looking for an additional layer to their coaching, and also looking for the branded quality that UCD offers. At this stage, I think I'm going to bring Mark in, and maybe, first of all, thank you, Mark, for joining us. That was just giving an overall structure and logistics of the program. But I think hearing from you, Mark, with regard to your actual experience on the program might be really useful for those that are thinking about, is this program for them? So maybe, first of all, thank you. And maybe just introduce yourself, and what was it for you that you chose this particular diploma?
Thanks very much, Eileen. I don't know if anyone will have any questions after your introduction. It was so thorough. I felt like I was back doing the course. And good morning, everyone. I suppose if I was to try to put myself in the shoes of the people who are listening in, you know, when I was thinking of doing the course, I had a lot of questions. I was wondering, what is coaching? I had been a client of coaching when I was working. Some of it was very good, some of it wasn't so good. And I wondered, you know, why were coaches different? What was their background, etc. And coaching had always been out there as a question for me when I was working. I was working in industry, but I'd always wondered about coaching, particularly from a client experience. So for a long time, it was a sort of a whispering question. And I'd also, for me, wondered, you know, at a future stage, what would I do in terms of my career, and what, you know, I wanted it to do something else. So I knew there was something else I wanted to do. I had questions about coaching, and I actually decided and started coaching on a course somewhere else in another organization. But I knew that it wasn't for me very quickly, not coaching, just the way it was taught, because I was really interested in organizations, in leadership, and because of my background, which was my particular stance and view on coach, was I was very interested in how coaching could help business leaders, how it could help organizations. And also I had a sense out there as well, that coaching was going to change me in a particular way. It's interesting, you said you did the course and it had a profound impact on you. I scribbled down some notes, and I wrote down that it ignited something in me. It has left a huge imprint on me, and it's made it, you know, it has created a lasting interest. Hence, I've gone on and done more. Why I chose UCD ultimately, first of all, I was seen as an individual. I got a lot of support. I asked a lot of questions before I went near, you know, making a decision. In fact, I only decided, I think, 3 days before the course started, finally. I know I talked to you, Eileen, and I talked to others, and I had a lot of questions around, well, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time. Could I study again? Will I be able to coach? Can I build a business, or is just, you know, is this just a bit of a fantasy for me? So all of those things went on for me. And what I can say now, having done it, and still being in UCD and pursuing the master's program, is I am incredibly privileged to have done it. It has made a huge impression on me, and maybe we can talk a bit more about that. And I'm very happy that I did it in UCD, because it was the right place for me. And it was the right course for me, and it was the right learning. You know, it's a very immersive experience. As I said, I was interested in the business side, so I wanted to understand the models, the tools, the theory, and I wanted to be able to come well resourced. What I hadn't really appreciated was the change I would undergo as a result of doing the program, and it's quite a significant change in that I'm probably more empathetic, I'm more emotionally aware, I'm certainly more aware of myself. I'm more grounded in myself. I understand my own motivations and behaviors a lot more. So there was a lot of personal development, and I do work in it full time, part coaching, part consulting, and part other work as well.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for being so open and honest with regard to your own experience. And I think listening to you there, I think a lot of people would resonate with this sense of starting off on a coaching program and not quite sure what coaching is, may have had a little bit of experience about it, but there's something kind of drawing their attention that they want to know more. So I think a lot of people start off exactly where you are with regard to a curiosity around what is coaching, and how can coaching be part either of my day-to-day style or maybe of something in the future. You described, Mark, as you went on the program, that there, I suppose, maybe what were the challenges for you early on in the program?
Well, we happened to be the I call it the COVID year, so a lot of it was online, but it was classroom as well. So the challenges were, well, first of all, could I commit the time? Could I build it into, you know, other things I was doing? Being back in a classroom, meeting a lot of new people, wondering who they all were, why they were there, as in, you know, what their motivation for coaching was. Just being back in learning, and sitting in a classroom situation. They were all the sort of things that were challenging me. But then, you know, from day one, the course, the program challenged me to think. I think on day 2, we were doing simulated, you know, we were coaching. And that was a big challenge as well. And there's things about the course that are the program that are quite unique in terms of what you have to bring of yourself to it. And that for me began to emerge over time. So there were some very practical challenges, there were some emotional challenges, and there were some academic challenges.
Yeah, so there's a real sense listening, Mark, there to you. There were 2 parallel journeys that you were going on. One which you intended to go on I suppose a learning journey with regard to coaching and leadership and what you'd offer and the skill. But there's something about you becoming more aware of yourself, your behaviors, your emotions, your impact. And this was maybe a part that you underestimated of the program.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been aware of it at all.
Yeah.
I know there's the psychological aspect of coaching, which I'm very interested in and still learning about, but I wouldn't have been aware at all of the impact on myself in terms of how I face out into, be it into client situations, but how I face out into the world, what motivates me. I wouldn't have been aware of that at all. And from day one on the course, certainly I was challenged and gently drawn out of myself. There's a lot of exercises where you're sitting in circles in the classroom and questions are put there, and it's up to you. Do you speak first? Do you speak last? I was at the beginning. I was very hesitant. It took me certainly the first module to settle in, and that was, it was challenging the way it does gently draw you out of yourself. And also, as you begin to understand coaching by its nature, it's something which your persona and your learning is centrally involved in. So you begin to look at that and understand it in a particular way and become aware of it. So certainly there was an awareness, lots of insight. And the other thing I'd say as well, from day one, I think I did the course, I think the program 4 years ago. But I'm pretty well still in touch with 90% of the class. We have had a learning group. We still meet regularly and we still have calls together. So it's a highly collegiate experience as well, which is great because other people, you're having your individual experience of it, but everybody else is having the same experience, and you become more aware of that as you go along.
Yeah, and the whole experience of the learning group. So this idea of what we do is to support you with the learning in between the workshops, is that from workshop 1, we divide you all into much smaller groups, so maybe groups of 4 or 5, and they generally meet, it's up to themselves, but maybe meet for an hour once every 10 days to support each other with regard to the pre-reading, the assignments, finding coachees, the just general challenges that you come across, that you'll have a smaller group, and this group stays together for the whole duration of the program. So as you say, you do get the opportunity to build a wide network with the overall group, but also the opportunity of much smaller individual relationships. So Mark, what would be the one piece of advice maybe that you would like to give participants, or that are either thinking of signing up on the program, or just curious about it? What is it that you would have liked to have known maybe back then when you had started the program? What would have been useful?
In all honesty, if I had known at the beginning the impact it was going to have for me, if I had known at the beginning the awareness it was going to have on me, and if I had known at the beginning the strength of learning and the confidence that has given me to operate in, at senior board level and coaching, if I'd known all of these things at the beginning, well, I wouldn't have had really any of the tentative questions. Coaching, is a relationship. It's in its essence, it's a relationship, but in terms of the client and the coach, but it's kind of a relationship with yourself as well, because it's continuous learning. The opportunity for learning is immense. The opportunity for specializing, and you talked about where your interests are, is immense. So if I had known just, what a solid opportunity this was back then, well, I wouldn't have hesitated. I had kind of tricked myself a little bit and decided, okay, I'll do coaching, but I'll do a shorter course. My ambition was that I would coach. I wasn't certain I could do it. And my ambition was that I could coach at a particular level, or that I would coach at a particular level. If I had known about the learning, the foundation, I would have had no concerns about it. I wouldn't have hesitated. And as I said, the questions of money, time, individual capability, can I do it? Can I, what's it going to be like studying again? Those assignments, those things were all going around in my head. And it's hard to visualize what it's like until you're actually there. And one of the things I would say, we mentioned about the learning group, they're incredibly helpful, because when you have the assignments, there's people there who are discussing theories, learnings, whatever with you and supporting you. So it might seem a little daunting, but funnily enough, when you're in it, it just kind of flows. From the outset, from looking out inward, it is a bit daunting when you hear about all these assignments and classroom and everything at the time, but it very much flows, and it builds really gently as well.
Yeah. So really at the end of the program, you will have everybody from the practical aspect have completed over 130 hours of coaching. So there's a real sense of being grounded in an executive coach, being able to coach at any level once I'm completed of the program. So this whole idea with back to the three pillars, a real strong sense of the practical experience of being coached. There are no role models, or there's no role play. This is about you bringing yourself fully to the program, being coached while you're on the program, sitting in the coachee's chair along with coaching your colleagues. Mark, thank you. I'm conscious of the time, and I'd love to hear if there's questions or answers. So you might just stay with me here, and we might invite Annabelle back into to join us.
Thanks, Eileen and Mark. At the moment, we don't have any questions. So if anybody does have anything, I suppose that is a good sign that you've really gone through it in a lot of detail. It's funny, I mean, I'm recruiting for this program for the past 6 years, and I still learn something new from these kind of things and from our breakfast events. So it was very, very informative. Thank you. This person here just said, from your experience, do you think certain personality types are more attracted to coaching, or even become more successful coaches due to their personalities?
To coaching or even become more successful coaches due to, no, my attitude is that being human is a very huge, complex process that we all experience, and it takes all sorts. So for me, possibly somebody that has a curiosity in other people I think that would be the foundation, that they really have a curiosity and wanting to know more about, you know, how we all operate in the world. And that would be kind of the foundation level. But I don't think that there's any particular personality types. And I certainly wouldn't like to box it into a particular personality type.
Yeah, I would just add, curiosity was the thing that came up for me, and a stance which is empathetic, and wanting to help and make a difference, and people who, you know, want to see tangible evidence that they are making an imprint or an impact. But certainly on the class I was on, also the different people, very different personalities, which, you know, and lots of different human experience, and all, I think most of them still coaching.
Yeah, it's a lovely diversity that the group brings. I'm looking at a question there about the process of getting, the practicality of getting coaches. So we spoke about the learning groups. So you're literally out coaching from workshop 1. This again is another differentiation from other programs. We get you out coaching from literally, as Mark said, the second day of the program. In relation to getting coaches for the pro bono, this is where your learning group, but also we support you and UCD supports you. So it's a process, and we work you through with regard to getting your coaches. And there are loads of people out there looking for pro bono coaching, only willing to step in. So that's never an issue. Is there anything you need to do to prepare yourself for the course, Mark? Maybe.
Thank you. Anything you need to do? Well, thanks for firing that at me. You know, I had the concerns going around in my mind, and what I did was, it wasn't to prepare myself for the course, it was to make sure it was the right course. So I talked to a lot of people. I talked to people like me who'd gone through Smurfit. I talked to people who had gone through other courses, and I talked to a lot of people on the faculty to reassure myself.
Yeah, and I think listening, Mark, there to you, that suggestion of, you know, talking to other people that have gone through the program is hugely beneficial. But with regard to just preparation, there isn't. Just turn up and be yourself. We look forward to seeing you on day 1. I think April the
25th. Yeah.
25th. No, not at all, Aisling. From our side, once you get sitting in the chair, we'll take you from there, but just arrive that morning.
And you may stay for a very long time, because I'm still hanging around.
I think just on that point as well, Eileen, is just to have the time to commit to it, though, because, you know, obviously the people who come on our program are senior executives, you know, they have busy working and personal lives. So, you know, having that time, you know, we've had people in the past who have maybe gone through some serious things in their lives. And, you know, between talking to me and talking to Eileen and talking to Pam and other participants, they realized, you know what, I'm not just right in that right mindset, because you do have to have that right mindset, because you learn a lot about yourself, you know, the self-awareness piece, and you have to be comfortable with that before you can ever work with anybody else. So I would kind of add to that there, to have that time to give to it. Everybody is part of the decision, I think, your family, your work, along with yourself. So I think that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And needless to say, life gets in the way. It always does. So, you know, we do work with, if something happens and you're in the process of the program, and, you know, we work with people with regard to supporting you through various stages of assignments. And so, you know, what we would say is build the time around as best as you can, acknowledging that this is the commitment. But we also recognize that everybody's lives are very busy nowadays, and we do try to work as best as we can in that space as well to support.
I might just echo that, if I may. I remember sitting in a car on the side of the road. I was on my way to a meeting. Eileen, you were on the way to a coaching session, but you took the time, because I was doing my first or second assignment and I just didn't understand it. And I well remember the conversation of you know, talking to me about how I was feeling about the assignment, first of all, but then practically helping me through. And I vividly remember that day. And it was great tips in terms of how to do the assignment as well. but there's a lot of support.
Thank you, Mark.
Somebody asked there about is it very focused on one-to-one coaching, or does it cover coaching a team? Mark, you've done the team coaching, and Eileen, I think you have as well. I'm not sure.
So this particular program is individual coaching. So it's one-to-one coaching that we are. You will have the tools and techniques and concepts with regard to working with a team, but not as a team coach. So you'd be in the room and you might have slightly different awareness or bring your tools and techniques, shall we say, that you would have learned on the program. But the program is specifically training you to be an executive coach in the one-to-one capacity. And you have the option, as Mark has done and I have done, is to do a team coaching diploma after this. And this very much focuses a different angle. It is a different lens on looking at the team as your client versus the individual as your client. And it is a very different skill set to the one-to-one. Mark, I don't know whether you've anything to add.
The only thought that came up to me is, for me personally, I would have found it difficult to do team coaching without having done one-to-one coaching and getting all of that foundation first, allowing that to percolate and to practice with it for a while and to get more confident experience and then go on to team coaching. But when I did the diploma, it was very much for executive coaching was why I went. And it laid the foundation, has laid the foundation for everything else that has followed.
I just noticed there's a few people here who have done diplomas on our other pathway aside from coaching, so strategy, business, finance, high performance sales. So these people would have been very used to your classroom with your safety of your desk in front of you, a lot of PowerPoint presentations, and those kind of things. Coaching is very different. So, I have had people who have come and done our MSc in Business Leadership Management Practice. I will explain that in a few minutes as well. But people who've done that then may decide, I've always wanted to do coaching. The time is right now. I have my other MSc, but I just want to do that coaching piece. And for them coming, it's a very much a different classroom experience. Mark mentioned it there in his piece about, it's the circle of chairs and it's that circle of trust, and you're very much exposed. It's all about building that self-awareness. So it's very different from the other diplomas. Even the assignments, you mentioned, Eileen, about the reflection piece, a reflective assignment. So I would caution for those people that are thinking about maybe doing this as an add-on, to really take on board what Eileen and Mark have said there. This is all about you, really. Both you and your organization will benefit personally, professionally. You will benefit as well. But it's transformational, I think, is the word, Mark. I mean, you mentioned so many words, but I think transformational is the huge thing there. So I think those people, if they do decide to come on and do this diploma, I think they will really see it's something for them as well as for their organization. So I just wanted to point that out because I just noticed some familiar names. And one person there just asked about when it starts on the 25th of April. So the first day is you're in here. I think we start at 9, Eileen, or is it 8:30?
Right,
9. Okay. So every day is 9 to 5 then. There's no shorter day. On some of our other diplomas, we have an orientation day and it starts kind of at lunchtime, but on this, it's full days every day, including the first day.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to come on as an overview, Annabelle, to what you're saying there, some programs, download information. This is very much about giving you a framework and then you using the framework and making sense of it for you. And there also is a piece of, you only bring or share as much as you want to. So it's not as if that we're here and everybody has to expose themselves on the vulnerability. There is, we do create a very open, safe space for learning to occur. So if you really want to learn about yourself, learn about a new skill, it's important that everybody does feel safe in that environment. So it is we do create a a safe learning space for everyone. And I think the premise of the whole idea of learning more about yourself is, if you want to become the best coach that you can be, you can only do it if you learn so much about yourself before you begin to support others on their change journey, whatever that looks like. So that's really the starting point of the program.
Great. I think we've covered everything of the questions. So Eileen and Mark, if you're happy, I'll finish out now with the logistics. Thank you so much to both of you for that very open, honest discussion and information about the program. I hope, well, it looks like everybody got their questions answered. So I'll let you mute yourselves and turn off your video, and then I'm going to just share some slides here.
Lovely. Annabelle, thanks a million for this morning. And if anybody has any queries or they'd like to contact me directly, that's no problem either. Mark, thanks a million.
Thanks, Eileen. Thanks, Annabelle. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks very much. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Take care. Bye. Have a nice day.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to cover here. Eileen did go through the 6 modules, the workshops that are involved for the program that's starting on the 25th of April. You'll see all the dates here as well, and the people who will be teaching on each of those workshops. They are full days, 9 to 5 every day. And we do encourage you 100% attendance. It's a very experiential, practical program, so it is very important that you're in here in the classroom. Obviously, as Eileen mentioned, you know, there is life, it's just life, and things can come up, and we will support you in whatever way we can if there is anything that comes up for you during the program that you can't attend a module. So the next intake is on the 25th of April. We have actually had 26 intakes of this program already, so it's very well established. It commenced in 2007, and we have over 400 alumni from this particular program, and it's just one of our many programs. So when you have done the program, you become part of our alumni network, and we're always running events for people to come back and reconnect and come back to their home of learning, I suppose, here at Smurfit Executive Development. I did mention the MSc pathway at the beginning. So Mark has done or is in the final part of his MSc in Business and Executive Coaching pathway. And what that means is, so he completed our Diploma in Business and Executive Coaching. He then went on and did 2 other coaching diplomas. So he will, because it's predominantly coaching, then he will qualify later this year or early next year with an MSc in Business and Executive Coaching. We do have another MSc pathway, and it's called the MSc in Business Leadership Management Practice. And the coaching diploma that we're talking about here this morning is included on that as well. So some people might have like to do kind of a broader business, you know, variation of programs, so like strategy, leadership, corporate governance, business finance. So they can include those kind of programs as well, not just be totally focused on coaching, and then they will get an MSc in Business Leadership Management Practice. So the whole idea is that each diploma is worth 30 credits. They're level 9. So when you do 3 30-credit diplomas, you qualify them with an MSc, which is worth 90 credits, and it's a master's level on the NFQ framework. For the intake on the 25th of April, we're hoping to have about 24 to 26 people. I do have limited places remaining, so if you are interested, I would encourage you to get in touch with me. The application process, so some of you have already applied, so you've gone through it, but for others who are thinking about it, I would encourage you to have a pre-program call with me. This does form part of the application process, and that's really just to go through the program in a little bit more detail, make sure it's the right fit for you, that it's going to meet all your needs, and also that it's the right timing for you. So we did mention that, you know, it's a huge commitment and you have to have that time to commit to it. So just to make sure that it is the right time for you. It does run again in October of this year. So we run it twice a year. So maybe if this time doesn't suit you, you might like to apply in the autumn instead. As regards the application, so you fill in an online application form. I send you the link, and there's some supporting documentation that you have to include, along with your level 8 degree transcript. And you must have at least 5 years middle to senior level management experience. Now, I have had some people come to me and they don't have a previous qualification. That's absolutely perfect. What we ask for there is that you have at least 10 years middle to senior level management experience then. And what we get you to do is you go through the same application process, but you just, instead of an academic transcript, you upload what we call a career portfolio form, which documents your management experience, and then a copy of your CV. And we take that then to the University Admissions Board then for approval. So at the moment, the companies that people are coming from these companies on the programme are thinking about it. So we have a good mix of public and private sector companies in there from all different industries. We do have a lot of people that come from the not-for-profit sector as well. So it'll be lovely to be in a nice mix, a diverse mix in the classroom. So that's it from us this morning. If you would like to learn more, as I said, or you would like to apply, please do get in contact with me. This is my email address and my mobile phone number. Also, I will be sending out a copy of the recording along with these slides and some helpful information on the programme and the dates afterwards. So you can just reply to that email if you'd like to get in touch to apply or learn more. Thank you so much to everybody, and thank you to Mario. Nobody can see him in the background, but he's looking after all our technology in the background, and to Mark and to Eileen, and I wish you all a great day. Thank you.